Welcome to our in-depth exploration of how to effectively deal with toxic people using the wisdom of Stoicism. In today's world, filled with negativity and emotional turmoil, handling difficult people has become an essential skill for maintaining our peace of mind. But instead of merely reacting to these people, what if we could use their negativity to strengthen our inner selves? This video will not just provide you with practical strategies. It will offer you a path toward greater emotional resilience and inner strength. We'll draw upon Stoic teachings that have stood the test of time, focusing on practical ways you can apply these principles to your everyday life. Why watch the whole video? Because if you're tired of letting other people's behavior dictate your peace, then understanding and applying these Stoic-inspired techniques could be the key to reclaiming your mental and emotional well-being. By the end of this journey, you'll not only know how to handle toxic individuals, but also cultivate a life of calm, reason, and virtue. So take a deep breath and let us dive into these 10 powerful ways to deal with toxic people. 1. Set clear boundaries to protect your inner citadel. Picture your mind as a fortress, a place of refuge filled with tranquility and guarded by strong walls. These walls are the boundaries you set to protect yourself from negativity and emotional harm. Without boundaries, toxic people will find their way into your citadel, disrupting your peace and depleting your energy. But how do you set these boundaries effectively? And why is it so important to do so? Boundaries are not merely physical barriers, but emotional ones that delineate what behaviors you will accept from others. In Stoicism, we are taught that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can control our responses to those actions. By setting clear boundaries, we establish a perimeter around our inner peace, much like the walls of a fortified city. How to define your boundaries? To set boundaries, begin by reflecting on what behaviors or situations drain your energy. Are there certain comments, actions, or attitudes from others that make you feel deflated? Recognize these, as they point to where your boundaries need to be established. Stoicism encourages us to act with reason and clarity, so communicate your boundaries calmly but firmly. You could say, "I feel overwhelmed when the conversation constantly focuses on negative topics," instead of accusing, "You're always so negative." When you set boundaries, do not waver in upholding them. Just as a fortress's walls must remain strong against repeated assaults, your boundaries should not be easily breached. If a person repeatedly violates your boundaries, remind them calmly of the limits you have set, or even reduce your interaction with them if necessary. Consistency is key. Maintaining these boundaries consistently is crucial. What good is a fortress if the walls can be easily breached at any moment? When you set a standard for how you wish to be treated, you teach others how to interact with you. Inconsistent boundaries can lead to more manipulation and disrespect. Thus, Stoicism teaches us the value of self-control and firmness in upholding our principles. When boundaries are tested, there will inevitably be those who push against your boundaries to test their strength. They may use manipulative tactics, such as guilt-tripping, flattery, or even aggression to try to break through. In these situations, stand firm and remind yourself why you set these boundaries in the first place. Are you not deserving of peace and respect? When someone challenges your boundaries, reaffirm them without guilt or hesitation. Remember, protecting your inner tranquility is not an act of selfishness, but a necessary step toward a flourishing life. Reflect on your own life. Are there areas where your boundaries are too lax? Have you allowed toxic behaviors to persist because it was easier than confronting them? Consider what it might feel like to uphold your boundaries consistently. What could you gain from a life where your inner citadel remains strong and secure, guarded against the onslaught of negativity? By setting and defending your boundaries, you build the first layer of your emotional resilience. Next, we will explore how to make yourself uninteresting to toxic individuals. 2. Use the gray rock method to remain unresponsive to toxic provocations. Imagine a gray rock, dull, unremarkable, and unyielding. It does not react to rain, sun, or wind. It simply exists, unaffected by external forces. This is the essence of the gray rock method, a powerful tool in dealing with toxic people. But why would you want to be like a gray rock? In the realm of Stoicism, we are taught to practice apatheia, a state of being where we remain indifferent to what is beyond our control. Toxic people often thrive on drawing emotional reactions from others, feeding off the drama they create. By remaining emotionally neutral, you deprive them of the response they crave. How to apply the gray rock method? The next time a toxic person tries to provoke you, whether through criticism, sarcasm, or manipulation, choose to respond in a way that gives them nothing to latch onto. Use short, factual responses such as, "That's interesting," or "I see." Avoid sharing personal details or expressing strong opinions that they can use against you. By doing this, you transform yourself into a dull, uninteresting presence, much like the gray rock. Why it works? The gray rock method works because it disrupts the toxic person's usual patterns. When they fail to get the emotional reaction they seek, they may become frustrated or lose interest in engaging with you. Over time, this approach can help you minimize interactions with such individuals, as they find it unfulfilling to draw you into their drama. Challenges. You might face this technique is not without its challenges. Initially, some toxic people may intensify their efforts to get a reaction, especially if they are accustomed to manipulating you. They may use harsher words, louder tones, or more cunning tactics. In these moments, remember the teachings of Stoicism, that our true power lies in controlling our responses, not the actions of others. By staying composed and indifferent, you maintain your inner strength. The importance of emotional detachment. Stoicism encourages us to detach from external events and focus on our internal state. When you adopt the gray rock method, you are practicing this emotional detachment by refusing to be drawn into another person's negativity. You may ask yourself, how often do you find yourself reacting to others' provocations? What would happen if, instead of reacting, you chose to remain calm and detached? The gray rock method allows you to take control of your interactions and preserve your peace. It may not be suitable for every situation, but it serves as an effective tool to use against those who seek to disturb your tranquility. In the next section, we will discuss the importance of limiting your exposure to toxic individuals. 3. Limit your exposure to preserve your energy. Imagine your inner peace as a valuable resource, like water in a desert. Every interaction with a toxic person is like pouring out some of this precious water. How much of it can you afford to waste? Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and one thing we can control is the amount of time and energy we spend on people who drain us. The power of selective interaction. Limiting exposure does not mean completely avoiding all challenging individuals. Sometimes that is not possible, especially if the person is a family member or colleague. Instead, it means being selective about the depth and frequency of your interactions. Do you need to attend every social event? Could you limit conversations to necessary topics only? Reducing exposure helps preserve your energy for people and activities that bring value to your life. Physical and emotional distance. Where it is feasible, create physical distance by avoiding settings where toxic people are present. This could mean declining invitations or stepping away from a conversation that is veering into negativity. When physical distance isn't possible, establish emotional distance by mentally disengaging from their behavior. Picture their words as clouds passing by. Acknowledge them, but do not let them affect your inner state. Stoicism and the concept of control reflect on the Stoic teaching that we can control our choices, but not the actions of others. Toxic individuals may continue to behave as they always have, but you have the choice to distance yourself from them. If your peace is constantly threatened by someone else's negativity, ask yourself, how much longer will you allow that person to affect your life? How much energy are you willing to expend on someone who adds no value to your well-being? When total avoidance is necessary, sometimes, despite your best efforts to limit exposure, it becomes evident that the only way to preserve your peace is to completely walk away from the relationship. Stoicism does not view this as an act of cowardice, but as a rational choice to protect your well-being. Are there relationships in your life that you continue to hold on to, despite knowing that they are harmful? Consider what you might gain by letting them go. The key to dealing with toxic people is not always to confront them directly, but to preserve your energy and focus on what truly matters. Next, let's delve into the art of practicing indifference. 4. Practice indifference to neutralize emotional provocations. Imagine a toxic person casting a line into the water, hoping to reel you in with insults, sarcasm, or guilt trips. They seek to hook you into an emotional response, dragging you into their vortex of negativity. How can you avoid taking the bait? The answer lies in practicing indifference, an important concept in Stoicism known as apatheia. But what exactly is indifference in this context, and why does it matter? In Stoicism, indifference is not about being cold or uncaring. It is about maintaining emotional detachment from things that lie beyond our control, including the behavior and opinions of others. Toxic individuals may act out, provoke, or manipulate in various ways, but we have the choice to remain unaffected. When we practice indifference, we refuse to let external negativity disrupt our inner peace. Recognizing the bait. The first step is to become aware of when a toxic person is trying to provoke you. Are they using criticism disguised as constructive feedback? Are they attempting to shame you for not meeting their expectations? Recognizing these tactics for what they are, emotional bait, helps you disengage from the trap. Once you see the bait, remind yourself that their words do not define you, nor do they have any real power over your state of mind. Adopting a Stoic perspective. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This reflects the Stoic approach to emotional regulation. When a toxic person tries to stir up drama, pause and consider, what is my reaction here? Is this person's opinion worth my peace of mind? When you adopt this perspective, you realize that engaging with the negativity only feeds it, giving the toxic individual more power over you. Instead, choose to remain detached, observing their behavior from a place of calm objectivity, embracing the practice of emotional detachment. Emotional detachment does not mean ignoring the situation or pretending that it does not affect you. Rather, it involves acknowledging the situation without letting it influence your emotions. For example, if a coworker tries to provoke you with a rude comment, you can acknowledge what they said without internalizing it. You might think, that was a harsh remark, but choose not to respond with anger or defensiveness. This practice of detachment is a powerful form of emotional self-defense, keeping you grounded in your own values and state of mind. Turning the tables. How to disarm provocations. When you refuse to react to someone's provocations, you essentially disarm them. Imagine an archer drawing back their bowstring, only to find that there is no target to hit. Their efforts fall flat, and the emotional power they hope to wield over you is rendered useless. What would happen if, the next time someone tried to provoke you, you chose not to engage? How would it feel to preserve your peace, even in the face of negativity? The ability to remain indifferent to external provocations is a central tenet of Stoicism, and it empowers you to stay focused on what truly matters: your own growth, virtue, and inner peace. When you do not take the bait, you free yourself from the toxic cycle of reaction and escalation. Let us now turn to the art of non-reaction as a continuation of this practice. 5. Master the art of non-reaction as a Stoic defense. There are times when silence is the most powerful response. Imagine a toxic person who thrives on arguments and uses words as weapons. Their goal is to provoke, humiliate, or draw you into a heated exchange. But what if you simply refused to engage? What if, instead of reacting, you chose to remain silent and let their words fall into the void? The art of non-reaction is a Stoic practice that involves deliberately choosing not to respond to provocations. This does not mean passive avoidance or a lack of courage. Rather, it is an active choice to preserve your inner tranquility. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." The power of silence. When a toxic person tries to pull you into an argument or drama, choosing silence disrupts their expected pattern. They expect anger, defense, or counter-arguments, but instead, they are met with calmness and non-engagement. This often throws them off balance, as they are left without the response they were seeking. Think of it as a form of martial arts, where you deflect an attack not by meeting force with force, but by stepping aside and letting it pass. When to use non-reaction? Non-reaction is especially useful in situations where responding would only escalate the conflict. If a toxic person is verbally attacking you in public or spreading rumors behind your back, engaging with them may only fuel the fire. By remaining silent, you send a clear message that you will not be drawn into their negativity. Silence is not weakness. It is a demonstration of strength, self-control, and mastery over one's emotions. Overcoming the urge to defend yourself. Our natural tendency is to defend ourselves when attacked, but Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in mastering our impulses. When you resist the urge to defend yourself against toxic people, you reclaim your power. Their insults or accusations lose their sting when you show that you do not care about their opinion. Ask yourself, does it really matter what they think? Will engaging with them bring any value to your life? Developing the habit of non-reaction. Like any other practice, mastering non-reaction requires time and effort. Start by applying it to minor irritations, a rude remark from a stranger, a sarcastic comment from a friend, or an unfair critique at work. Notice how your choice to remain silent affects the dynamic. As you develop this habit, you'll find it easier to apply to more challenging situations. Non-reaction is a Stoic form of self-discipline, teaching us to value our inner peace more than the fleeting satisfaction of winning an argument. Let us now discuss the importance of knowing when to limit your exposure to toxic individuals. 6. Know when to walk away to protect your peace. There are times when no amount of Stoic practice can salvage a relationship. In some cases, the only way to maintain your inner peace is to walk away. But how do you know when it's time to let go? And is choosing to walk away a sign of weakness or an act of wisdom? Walking away is not about giving up on people. It is about accepting the limitations of your influence. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control, our actions, our attitudes, and our decisions. The actions of others, however, are beyond our control. If a relationship continuously brings negativity, hostility, or manipulation into your life, despite your efforts to improve it, it may be time to let it go. Recognizing when it's time to move. On some indicators that it may be time to walk away include recurring patterns of disrespect, boundary violations, and emotional exhaustion. Are you consistently drained after interacting with this person? Do they show little to no effort to change their behavior? These are signs that the relationship may be damaging your well-being more than it is worth. Walking away as an act of self-respect. When you choose to walk away from a toxic person, you are not giving up. You are prioritizing your peace and well-being. Stoicism encourages us to act with reason and virtue, and there is no virtue in maintaining a relationship that causes continual harm. Walking away is not about punishing the other person. It is about protecting yourself from further harm. The difficulty of letting go. Letting go of a toxic relationship, especially if it involves a close family member or longtime friend, can be difficult. However, Stoicism reminds us that we must not become attached to relationships that jeopardize our moral and emotional health. Consider the cost of staying versus the cost of leaving. What will you gain by freeing yourself from this toxic dynamic? What are you risking by staying? Gradual withdrawal versus abrupt departure. Depending on the situation, you may choose a gradual withdrawal from the toxic relationship. This could involve slowly reducing contact, declining invitations, or limiting the topics of conversation to neutral subjects. Alternatively, if the relationship is particularly harmful, a more abrupt departure may be necessary. Knowing when to walk away is a crucial Stoic skill that allows you to create space for positive relationships and experiences to enter your life. Let us now explore the importance of building a strong support system. 7. Build a strong support system for emotional resilience. No fortress can stand indefinitely without reinforcement, and no individual can maintain emotional resilience without support. Stoicism does not teach isolation, but encourages us to form meaningful connections with virtuous people who uplift and support us. A strong support system acts as a buffer against the negativity of toxic individuals, providing comfort and perspective during difficult times. The value of community in Stoicism. The Stoic philosophers, including Seneca and Epictetus, emphasized the importance of living in harmony with others. They saw relationships not as mere distractions, but as opportunities to practice virtue, compassion, and wisdom. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who share your values strengthens your resilience and provides a sense of belonging. Identifying positive influences. To build a strong support system, start by identifying the people in your life who consistently encourage, inspire, and support you. These are the individuals who listen without judgment, offer constructive feedback, and help you maintain a balanced perspective. Are you investing enough time in these relationships? How can you deepen your connection with them? The role of mentors and guides. In Stoicism, the concept of having a mentor or guide is highly valued. A mentor is someone who has walked a similar path and can offer insights that help you navigate your challenges. If you have someone in your life who embodies the virtues you admire, consider seeking their guidance. Their wisdom can provide clarity and direction, especially when dealing with difficult individuals. Creating a network of support. Building a support system goes beyond maintaining close friendships. It also involves participating in communities that share your interests and values. Whether it's a club, volunteer group, or online community, connecting with others who share your passions can be a source of strength. Think of this network as your Stoic phalanx, a formation that protects you from external negativity and supports your pursuit of a flourishing life. Building a strong support system ensures you have a foundation of encouragement to rely on, no matter how turbulent life becomes. Next, we will discuss why forgiving yourself is a powerful step toward letting go of toxic influences. 8. Forgive yourself to release emotional baggage. When we encounter toxic people, it is easy to blame ourselves for being affected by their negativity or for not walking away sooner. We may carry guilt, shame, or resentment, holding on to emotional burdens that weigh us down. But what if the true path to freedom lies in forgiving ourselves? How can we let go of the past to reclaim our peace? Forgiveness, in the Stoic sense, is about releasing yourself from the grip of negative emotions. It is not about excusing harmful behavior, but about freeing yourself from the emotional chains that keep you tethered to the past. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Understanding the nature of forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean condoning the actions of toxic individuals. Rather, it is an acknowledgement that what happened is beyond our control and that clinging to resentment only prolongs our suffering. When you forgive yourself, you are choosing to release the hold that negative experiences have on your present and future. What might your life look like if you let go of old grudges? How would it feel to be free from the weight of past hurts? Practicing self-compassion. Stoicism teaches us to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer a friend facing similar struggles. If a friend confided in you about their feelings of guilt or resentment, would you encourage them to dwell on it, or would you urge them to let go and move forward? Why then should you not extend that same compassion to yourself? Breaking the cycle of negative emotions. Carrying resentment or bitterness towards a toxic person is like holding onto a hot coal, thinking that it will somehow harm them. In reality, it only burns you. By choosing to forgive yourself, you break the cycle of negativity and release the emotional energy needed for growth and healing. How to cultivate forgiveness. Forgiveness can be cultivated through self-reflection, meditation, and reframing. Reflect on the situation and your feelings towards it. Acknowledge your emotions without judgment, and then ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this lesson to become a stronger, wiser person? Reframing the situation in a way that emphasizes growth rather than loss can help you move toward forgiveness. By forgiving yourself, you take a significant step toward letting go of the negativity associated with toxic individuals. Let's now consider how to use the broken record technique to maintain your boundaries. 9. Use the broken record technique to reinforce your stance. When dealing with toxic individuals, you may find yourself repeatedly having to assert your boundaries. They may try to wear you down with persistent requests, arguments, or manipulative tactics. In such situations, the broken record technique can be an effective tool to maintain your stance. But what does this technique entail, and how does it align with Stoic principles? The broken record technique involves calmly and consistently repeating your position, much like a broken record that skips on the same phrase. This method is not about stubbornness, but about showing unwavering resolve in the face of manipulation. As Epictetus taught, freedom is found in our ability to maintain our principles regardless of external pressures. Why repetition matters. Repetition serves as a form of defense, reinforcing your boundaries and making it clear that you will not be swayed. When a toxic person continues to push against your limits, responding with the same calm statement disrupts their attempts to manipulate you. It is a way of saying, "I have made my decision, and I stand by it," without being drawn into endless debates or justifications. Examples of the broken record technique. If someone tries to guilt trip you into doing something you are uncomfortable with, you might respond by saying, "I appreciate your point, but I am not able to do that." If they continue to argue, repeat, "I understand how you feel, but my decision remains the same." Notice how this technique keeps the conversation grounded in your boundary, rather than allowing it to spiral into a justification of your choice. Stoicism and the power of consistency. Stoicism teaches the importance of perseverance and reason in our actions. The broken record technique embodies this by reinforcing our resolve in a measured, consistent manner. Ask yourself, How often do you allow others to wear down your boundaries simply because you grow tired of repeating yourself? Could embracing repetition with calmness and confidence be a way to honor your own principles? Maintaining calm under pressure. While using this technique, it is crucial to maintain a composed demeanor. If your tone becomes defensive or irritated, it signals to the toxic person that they are getting to you. By remaining calm, you show that their persistence has no effect on your decision. Remember, the goal is not to win an argument, but to affirm your boundaries. The broken record technique helps you stand firm in your principles and prevents toxic individuals from exploiting your patience. In our final section, we will explore how to prioritize self-care as a Stoic practice. 10. Prioritize self-care as a form of emotional maintenance. Dealing with toxic people can be exhausting, depleting your emotional energy and resilience. That is why prioritizing self-care is essential for maintaining your inner strength. Stoicism does not advocate for neglecting oneself in the pursuit of virtue. Rather, it encourages us to take care of our physical and mental well-being so that we can continue to practice virtue effectively. Viewing self-care as a necessary practice. Self-care is not indulgence, it is maintenance for the soul. Just as a Stoic warrior would sharpen their sword before battle, so must we tend to our emotional and physical health to remain strong in the face of adversity. This means engaging in activities that replenish your energy, such as exercise, meditation, hobbies, or spending time in nature. The Stoic approach to self-care Stoicism teaches us to live in accordance with nature, which includes respecting our own nature by listening to our bodies and minds. If you feel overwhelmed, take a step back. If you are physically exhausted, rest. There is no virtue in pushing oneself to the point of burnout. Ask yourself, are you treating your body and mind with the care they deserve? What small steps can you take today to prioritize your well-being? Creating a routine that includes self-care. Incorporate self-care practices into your daily routine as you would any other important task. Whether it is a morning meditation, a daily walk, or a relaxing evening activity, make time for practices that nourish your spirit. This is not an act of selfishness, but a necessary step to ensure that you are equipped to face life's challenges. Setting boundaries around your self-care. Time. Just as you set boundaries with toxic people, establish boundaries around your self-care. This could mean saying no to additional responsibilities that interfere with your time for rest, or turning off your phone during certain hours to avoid distractions. Remember, maintaining your well-being is not optional. It is a crucial aspect of practicing Stoicism. Self-care as a form of resilience. When you make self-care a priority, you strengthen your ability to handle toxic situations with grace. A well-rested, mentally centered individual is far more resilient in the face of negativity than one who is exhausted and stressed. What could you achieve if you committed to regular self-care? How might it change the way you interact with challenging people? By prioritizing self-care, you not only replenish your emotional resources, but also honor the Stoic principle of living in harmony with nature. These 10 strategies, rooted in the wisdom of Stoicism, provide a powerful framework for dealing with toxic people. By setting boundaries, practicing indifference, and prioritizing self-care, you can protect your inner peace and cultivate a life of reason, virtue, and resilience. Which of these methods resonates with you the most? Have you tried any of them before, or are you facing a specific challenge that these strategies could help you overcome? Leave a comment below to share your experiences and thoughts. If you found this content helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who might benefit from Stoic wisdom. Together, we can spread the message of emotional resilience and inner strength. Thank you for watching, and may you continue to cultivate a life filled with peace, purpose, and virtue.